Have you ever heard someone asking another person for prayer and you found yourself thinking, there's no way that that is ever going to come to pass? Get your coffee. I'll never forget that many years ago, quite a while before I became the lead pastor at the church that I serve, I was a part of the ministry team, and we would receive these prayer request cards every single week. And I believe it was on Tuesday mornings, really early in the morning. We would have a rotation where the ministry team would come in and be a part of a prayer team that would be praying for these prayer requests. And we'd gather together, we'd go through every single one of the prayer needs at the church. And at that time, there was a prayer request. I remember the guy's name who put in the prayer request, and he would submit the exact same prayer every single week. And it was a prayer for the reconciliation of his marriage. He filled out this prayer card and gave this prayer request every week for probably years. And the backstory was that he had basically blown his marriage apart by his drug use and all kinds of other issues and problems that he had had. And his wife, at a certain point, she just couldn't take it anymore. So she said no more, and she filed for divorce. And by the time that I saw his repeated prayer requests, they had been divorced for a while. Of course, after she divorced him, he experienced conversion. He became a Christian, and his life was radically altered. He was transformed. Just like 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, he was a new creation completely. All the old things had passed away, and his life was wholly and completely different. So then he began praying to be reconciled to his wife, and they had had children, so to his family. And he started turning in that prayer request every week for truly God knows how long he gave that prayer request to the church. And he was praying that they would be reconciled. And I remember thinking at the time, after I had seen this prayer request quite a few times and had prayed for his request, I thought, this will never happen. But he kept praying, and I will never forget that one day he showed back up at the church on a Sunday morning with his wife and with his family, and then they got remarried. They were reconciled. It was one of those situations that, like I said, I thought was not possible, and then it happened. And it happened because God can transform people. He can truly transform an individual, and he can not only transform individuals, but couples and families and circumstances, even those people and circumstances that seem totally implausible and impossible. 2 Corinthians 5 says that those who are in Christ, that's another way for describing someone that trusts in Christ or is a follower of Christ. Those that are in Christ are a new creation, and not only are they a new creation, but God, who reconciles us to himself, also gives to us the ministry of reconciliation. And when we are reconciled to him, then he makes it possible for us to be reconciled to one another. And that reconciliation to God and to one another, it is miraculous. I know that many people in our postmodern, Western, 21st century culture think that miracles are not possible, but I've seen these miracles of reconciliation quite a few times, among other miracles as well. Those situations that I thought at the time were impossible, and then they happen. As I was thinking about this situation today, I haven't seen this guy in years, and I wondered what became of him. And so with the miracle of social media, I was able to find his social media page in a matter of seconds on the computer, and it turns out that he died in 2017. I didn't know that until just today. But 2 Corinthians 5, not only does it say that those who are in Christ are a new creation and that they've been reconciled to God and been given the ministry of reconciliation, but it also begins by saying, for we know that if our earthly house, this tent, this body, if it is destroyed, we have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For In this we groan, earnestly desiring to be clothed with our habitation which is from heaven. So we are always confident, knowing that while we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord, for we walk by faith, not by sight. We are confident, yes, well pleased rather, to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. So years ago, by faith and prayer, this guy was reconciled to his wife and family after being saved and transformed by grace. And then 4 years ago, he was reconciled to heaven by the same faith and saving grace. Something to think about. We'll see you next time.